Good morning, it's Mindy, and we are making Andy's mint melt cookies today. I think I'm in the camera. Can you see me? All right, I'm going to jump in and get started because I have something that I have melted here, and I don't want to wait too long. So I am going to add chocolate first, and then while I'm doing that, I'll give you the rundown of the recipe. Okay, as you can see, you're going to need a bag of chocolate chips, semi-sweet. And I'm gonna let those sit for just a second. They're gonna melt pretty quickly. Okay, so I received this recipe about, I don't know, 15 years ago maybe. It was one of the first cookie exchanges I went to. And I still have the recipe card that the lady made. She did this real cute little edge thing, and then she had attached it to the little box of cookies. It was really cute. So this has become one of our family favorite recipes. So I'm going to share it with you. You will need roughly 60 to 72 Andy's mints. So they are this week anyway. I think this week they are on sale at Target 2 for $4. There's some ice melting, so I had to take the ice out of the freezer to make room for this for a couple minutes. So it's just a little bit left, but it's moving anyway. When the house is quiet and dark, you hear everything. So anyway, you will want to definitely pick up some Andy's mints and make sure you have enough of those. So what I have done, I have melted together my first 3 ingredients and then added the chocolate chips. So I'm going to run down this recipe, and then I will plan to put it in the comments below a little bit later today. I don't know if anybody looked, but I got the sugar cookie recipe in the comments. So I just need to go back and do that. It's funny, I went upstairs and I could not get logged into my YouTube account again. And my son had just gotten up to get ready for school. And I said, can you just come over and take a look? I don't know why I can't sign in. So he came over to the computer with me and I went to sign in and it worked. That's what I need. I just need somebody with me, and then I can, they can just think I'm crazy. All right, back to the recipe. So you will need, I'm gonna stop stirring so you can hear it. You will need 3/4 of a cup of butter, which is a stick and a half. You do not have to let it soften because you'll be melting it. So you can just pull that straight from the fridge. 2 tablespoons of water, and then a cup and a half of brown sugar, 1 bag of chocolate chips, 2 eggs, 2.5 cups of flour. I want to be sure I got that right. 1 1/4 teaspoon of baking soda, which is a little bit of an odd measurement for cookies, so just be sure that you pay careful note to that. And then a 1/2 teaspoon of salt, and then, like I said, 60 to 72 Andy's mints, depending on the size of your cookies. Okay, so I melted the butter, the water, and the brown sugar all together, and I brought that to just a boil, so nothing burned. And then I did that ahead of time. I brought that pan over here. I then dumped the bag of chocolate chips in, and they have completely melted, and I've got those all stirred in. And normally I would let this cool for about 10 minutes, but because of video time, I'm going to stick this in the freezer for about 2 minutes. And then just hope the ice doesn't melt. So while that is chilling, it just needs a little bit of time to cool because you are going to add your eggs one by one next, and you don't want to cook your eggs. And then after that, you'll add your dry ingredients, and that will be the extent of that cookie dough. I have already made some of these. I made some of these a couple of days ago, and I will show those to you what they look. I'm not going to actually bake or do anything on screen because that dough, once it's all incorporated, does need to chill in the fridge for at least an hour because it's like a little bit of a pudding-like texture when you first mix the dough. You're going to think, oh, this is never going to make cookies, but Once it's chilled in the fridge for about an hour, it's the perfect consistency. So I'll show you what the finished product looks like in just a minute, but I thought I could at least mix it up together here. So that is that. I feel like there were a couple little housekeeping notes, and of course I didn't write them down, but like I mentioned, I got the sugar cookie recipe in the comments. I'll put this one in the comments as well, providing I can get into the computer. I guess I can just call a family member over if I can't, and then it'll all be fixed. I'm on day 7. This is day 7, and maybe that was all. I don't know. I think of random things here and there. I think, oh, I'm going to write that down so I can put that in my next video. And then I'm usually not near place where I can write it down or put the notes on my phone. So anyway, if I think of it, I'll tell you the next video. How's that? Okay, I am going to go ahead and get this out of the freezer, and then I'm going to put this into my KitchenAid. And like I said, we'll add an egg or 2 eggs, but add them one at a time. And then the dry ingredients that I have all set to go. So this looks really good right now because it's literally chocolate and butter and sugar and that little bit of water. Oh, that's what I was going to mention too about this recipe. I did not cut back the brown sugar. I know you probably remember I mentioned that a lot of times I cut back a little bit of the sugar. This one I don't, because you are melting the sugar down into something that you'll add the chocolate to, and melted chocolate can sometimes be a little particular. So I don't go messing with this one with any kind of the measurements. I just go with what the recipe says. So it melts really well. And then what you can do, I did not do this time. I did this for the last batch. But while you are waiting for your chocolate to melt, because that mixture is so hot, you can also, if you have a couple of extra Andes mints, you can chop or break in half a few of them and toss them into the batter or the mixture. I guess it will become a batter. And it will melt right in with the chocolate, and it gives it just a little bit extra of a mint flavor if you're like a true mint lover, which we are. But like I said, I did that to the other recipe, and I just didn't think to do it right now while I was talking, but you can do that. I think I have even made this before at Christmas time. I think Nestle makes you know how they do all the different chocolate chip flavor, or not chocolate chip flavors, that they only do at Christmas time. So you'll sometimes be able to find the chocolate chips mixed with the light green chips that are mint. I have used a bag of that before, and that's really good too. It will make the cookie dough a little bit lighter. It won't be as dark of a chocolate because the green melts in and kind of lightens everything. So anyway, just a little tip. Okay, I'm going to put this on the stand. I'm going to crack the first egg. Maybe. Yes, there we go. And I'm just going to give that a little mix. All right, egg number 2. That ready to go, and it is super liquid right now. So I'm going to add in all the dry ingredients. I pre-measured those last night, so it was one less thing to do this morning. And I'm going to let that mix in. I'll show you this in just a minute. It is literally pouring off of the mixer blade. So it looks like brownie mix is what it looks like. But like I said, give that an hour and it'll all be good. Okay. So I'm gonna let that kind of stay there for a second. Okay, so like I said, I made these the other day, and I'll try to get one that looks extra minty. Hopefully you can see that. So what you will do is once this is chilled, you'll take your parchment lined cookie sheets. Now this recipe says teaspoon of cookie dough. I use more tablespoon. And you can do either one. It just depends on what size cookie you want. I will recommend if you do the teaspoon route that you probably will be able to break your Andes mints in half and just use half of a mint. Because once you decide what size cookie you want and you bake those, by the way, 375, 9 to 11 minutes, depending on your oven. Check your oven. If it runs hotter, turn it down to 350. Once you bake those cookies and they are done, you'll pull them out, and then immediately you'll want to have your Andes mints unwrapped. And you will, if you're doing the larger cookie, place a mint on each of the cookies. If you were doing the smaller cookie, break the mints in half and put them on, because what happens is as the mint melts, if there's too much there, it's just going to run down the sides onto the cookie sheet. It just kind of makes a mess. And along that line, while I'm thinking about it, when you do place the mint, whether it be a whole or a half, on the cookie, slightly press into the cookie with the mint, because as it melts, it'll just slide right off if it doesn't have something to kind of grab onto. I've done that before where I've turned around a minute later and I'm like, mint's all over the cookie sheet. My little trick, I set the mint down, go in order of the usually 12 on a sheet, literally for about a minute and a half. I just let them sit, and then I go back to the cookies. I flip the halfway melted mint, it's hard to say, and then that way some of that green shows through when you swirl it. If you just let it completely melt and you swirl the chocolate, it's mostly going to look all chocolate. I'm trying to see if I have one of those in here. I got most of these all minty. But you want a little bit of that green to show through. It's just kind of I guess it's a little more chocolate. I mean, it's fine. They all taste the same, but if you're looking for that chocolatey, minty swirl, that's the way to do that. And you can use a toothpick, kind of flip it over, or a tiny little knife, something like that. So anyway, I am going to, oh, this is so sticky. I am going to show you this. I don't know if you're going to be able to get the full effect though on camera, but yeah, it's just real kind of brownie-like right now. So like I said, I will put that in the fridge and bake these later. If you want to make the dough way ahead of time and put it in the fridge, that's fine too. I would recommend maybe letting it sit out a half hour before you try to work with it, because otherwise it can be kind of crumbly. It just can be a little frustrating sometimes when it's like that. So, all right, I believe I covered everything on this recipe. If I didn't, I'll make notes on the next recipe or on the next video, but I think we've got that all covered. And like I said, if you use the smaller teaspoon, you're gonna get a lot more cookies. If you use the tablespoon, you'll get probably closer to 60. So anyway, I hope you have a great day. It's gonna be beautiful here. I don't know how much longer this weather's gonna last. Well, actually I do know it's gonna start to get colder and rainier tomorrow. So I'm gonna go try to get outside and do my stuff outside and just enjoy the sunshine while it lasts in December. It's kind of nice. So anyway, I hope you have a great day. I'll see you next time. Bye.